This week's champion trends feature Yasuo, Karma, Anivia, Kha'Zix, Twitch, and Master Yi. I'm Lindsay with ZAM Network, and this is LolKing's League Trends. Let's dive into Summoner's Rift. The increases in pick rate this week begin with Pantheon with over 5.5%. Twitch, Yasuo, Rengar, and Lee Sin follow up. For the last few patches, Yasuo was more of a niche pick and almost exclusively picked against Nidalee as a counter. And now, the Unforgiven is slowly rising in popularity once again. His build has been changed a bit since he was first introduced to the Rift. Instead of rushing Infinity Edge after finishing up Static Shiv, players have been building Blade of the Ruined King instead. The attack speed you get from Shiv and Berserker's Greaves will put your Q, Steel Tempest, on its lowest cooldown due to the fact that cooldown reduction does not affect the ability, while attack speed does. With the Blade of the Ruined King build, you're opened up to buy more defensive boots like Merc Treads. With the active on Blade of the Ruined King, Yasuo can catch people easier and escape like no one's business. Since Steel Tempest applies on-hit effects, you'll be able to melt tanks that stand in your way. Expect to see this guy hanging around for quite some time. Champions on the decrease in pick rates this week include Jax, Thresh, Morgana, Udyr, and Karma. The Enlightened one used to be the Meg Griffin of League of Legends, but after her rework and multiple buffs, she became one of the strongest supports on the Rift. Karma is very strong in lane due to her high poke from her Inner Fire and the shield and movement speed from Inspire. From levels 1 through 5, she's one of the highest damage supports, but however, if she does not get control in lane by then, she could be in big trouble. Due to how her mantra works, she doesn't receive a huge power spike like most of the other supports do at level 6. She doesn't have a Tibbers like Annie or Solar Flare like Leona, so there is this possibility of being all-in and killed if she's unable to poke out the enemy duo lane by then. With that said, Karma doesn't scale particularly well if she gets a little behind. She is devastating when she's ahead, but behind she does very little compared to other supports in the same situation. We will still see Karma every now and then in competitive, but she remains a very strong option in solo queue due to her ability to bully players. Increases in win rates this week have Poppy up first. Xerath, Victor, Galio, and Anivia finish off the list. The bird is the word this week, with Anivia gaining a slight increase in win rate. I think it's safe to say that this is because of Froggen. His incredible performance on Anivia during the All-Stars event in Paris has reignited the fire for all of the Anivia players around the world. Froggen was able to stomp Team Fire with his amazing teleport Anivia play. He's the only player that will consistently do well on Anivia no matter what the meta calls for, and somehow he always looks so damn good while doing it. In all seriousness, there's not a real reason why Anivia's win rate was increased by 1% this week. She's not very popular in the current meta due to the fact that even with her Guardian Angel passive, she still dies easily to other laners like Zed and LeBlanc. She can push the lane all she wants, but in the end, she's very immobile and the other mids in the current meta can take advantage of that to snowball the other lanes. Sorry Froggen, Bird is not back yet. You keep fighting that good fight though. Champions on the decrease in win rates list include Karthus, Rumble, Janna, Syndra, and Kha'Zix. This bug has been set back a little in part because of the change on his ultimate Void Assault and Active Camouflage. The cooldown between each cast of this ability increased to 2 seconds. Even though this change seems very minor, it's actually made a lot of players think twice before picking him. Kha'Zix typically became extremely tanky after evolving his ultimate at level 6 while still doing high amounts of damage. With this change, it gives the enemy more time to kill the Void Reaver and, in turn, makes him easier to deal with. This win rate decrease is very minor and the nerf will not put this bug out of the business. If he is banned less in competitive, he might show up more in other lanes like top or even mid. He's still a strong assassin with built-in tankiness as well as mobility. There isn't another champion in League with a kit as volatile as his, and he will still be considered a very strong pick. The increases in ban rates this week see Twitch in the lead, up over 6% from last week. Lee Sin, Yasuo, Kassadin, and Jax follow behind. This smelly rat has gone from rags to riches ever since his remake. He went from being a niche pick to banned or picked in the first rotation nearly every game in competitive. He has high kill potential in lane, excelling in drawn-out fights due to his passive Deadly Venom. The longer the team fights last, the more time his passive has to build up, and once they reach a high stack, Contaminate can be used to burst down your targets. Twitch is also one of the strongest team fighting carries because of his ultimate Rat-a-tat-tat. This ability increases Twitch's auto attack range to 850 and will now pierce all enemies in that line. With the invisibility he gets from ambush, he's able to sneak up on unsuspecting players and burst them down quickly, which makes him extra dirty, like a good martini. We will continue to see Twitch rise and become the most prioritized marksman in both solo queue and competitive. Is it bad that I call him Splinter? Probably yes. Finally, the champions on the decrease in ban rates this week are literally the same ones from last week, except now the numbers are dropping faster than the polar ice caps are melting. Ooh, too soon? Dunkmaster Yi's ban rate drops drastically by nearly 40% this week. Similar to last week, all of the champions being banned less are part of the Pharaoh Flare Jungler Club. With the nerfs to the item introduced on patch 4.7, these numbers don't seem out of the ordinary. For 2 consecutive patches, Pharaoh Flare was nerfed, and the most recent nerf seems to have brought the farm-heavy junglers to a halt. In patch 4.6, the requirement for Wriggle's Lantern to transform into Pharaoh Flare increased from 25 stacks to 30. In the most recent patch, Pharaoh Flare's main passive was lowered, as well as the attack damage and attack speed from the item. With the direction these champions are going, there'll soon be an extinction of farming junglers, as if the item was never implemented. Junglers like Lee Sin, Elise, and Evelynn will once again take their thrones back in the jungle for future play. And that does it for this week's show. Please be sure to check back every week for the latest League of Legends picks, bans, and win rates. Please be sure to like and comment below if you enjoy this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, LolKing.net, for more great content. Thanks to Cloth5 for the analysis. I'm Lindsay Geektron. You can follow me on Twitter @LindsayGeektron. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.